Sean again. We are now at episode 9 of the series My Favorite Strings, where I take a look at some of my favorite gear. This is Cheesecake. We decided to name it today, my partner and I. Today or yesterday. Never really had a name for this. And it's been sitting, on the back burner for a little too long because I realized how cool and 60s it is. This is a 1964, I believe, as far as the last person to work on it said they found that date on the pickups. 1964 Harmony Stratotone Jupiter H-9. I think I got all the model components in there. But yeah, super cool, made in USA, made in Chicago, where all the Harmony catalog stuff, that's where it all was made. So Harmony really does have the claim to be, America's guitar, the world's guitar, the beginner's guitar, anything. The most played ones for that period, for sure. This was actually part of a set of a few things that a retired teacher gave to my band instructor at Beaverton High School. And this was sitting in a closet with a Supro Tremoverb amp from about the same year. And those were both made in Chicago, so that's a cool set that I now own because my dad had the thought to offer to trade some things to get these from the school because they couldn't be sold because that's illegal, I guess. But anyway, I'm glad that we ended up with this. It's the guitar I used on my first solo album. I'd been in a band, and in the summer of 2005 I made my album Lockjaw, and I just played this unplugged into a little CD recorder, and that was my sound. I also had some acoustic instruments I used, like a mandolin and a 12-string acoustic guitar and a piano. But I thought that was going to be the next vogue for me, because I needed to be so different at age 16. I was like, I'm going to tour the world with just an unplugged electric guitar, and functionally how? But anyway, it's a very easy to play little axe. It's like, I don't know, we're saying like maybe 4 pounds. It's completely hollow inside. So maybe you could compare it a little bit with like an Epiphone Casino or something like that. But no F-holes or anything, just two. So maybe some of the Gretches. We're figuring it out. But yes, these very desirable now, tone-wise and look-wise, very cool gold foil pickups. They must be single coils because they're so noisy. But very cool ancillary pickup guards. This was like the highest end of the Stratotone line from Harmony. You can see people like Richie Valens in the 50s playing their more primitive, small, solid color, 1 or 2 pickup Stratotone versions, and then they came out with, they started to name them after planets as they added more deluxe features. More pickups, more switches. I don't know what these all even do. I found the master volume for the bridge pickup, so that's pretty good. But yeah, they were of a planetary series, like Mars is I think the one before this. This is Jupiter, the most deluxe one somehow. I don't know how planets work. Dinosaurs, how do they work? Magnets? I don't know. I don't know that much. That's why I'm doing this series about guitars that I have, because I know that. Anyway, I'm going to assign a birthday of July 1st, 1964. I don't know exactly when it was made, but that's when my first solo album, that's when I started giving a hand-numbered and signed CD copy of my first solo album to people. Was in July 2005. And I don't even have a full copy that works anymore, so if you do, let me know. Yeah, this is a cool thing for lots of kinds of tones. It is the most 60s sounding guitar that I own. Just very true to that era. I would consider it like a really nice garage rock guitar. My band Time Travel Crew back then, we made kind of a lounge version of Smells Like Teen Spirit. Thinking of that guy, Richard Cheese? Thinking of that sort of stuff. Where I played slide on it. I played the slide solo, and I don't know what kind of deodorant it then smelled like after we slowed it down. Maybe melted crayon deodorant? Crayon? Chime in the comments about how to pronounce things. I'm from a place where we say shit right. I'll just say that. But anyway, yeah, very comfortable, beautiful guitar that has had to be modified a little bit just so that everything would work. These are the 3rd generation of knobs that have been on here. They were originally just little like rubber or plastic, they just were a color like apricot. And they were cool. That was the coolest possible permutation, but they had to be changed, and the switch had to be changed. Cool, like, chicken knob. But it's a very, very beautiful natural finish. You see the grain really well, and then flip it over and it's just, whoa, sunburst all over. And we decided to name this Cheesecake after running through a few names, because I don't know, we were gonna go with Champion before that. I was gonna call it Gimothy because I had found that name scrolled somewhere in a closet somewhere. I thought that was a very funny name, and I hope that someone's fortunate enough to have that name. But Cheesecake is significant, I guess, because that was my favorite food group growing up. And I always used to have cake and ice cream parties until I turned 27 with my both sets of grandparents, and that was fun. There's also a good Dexter Gordon song called Cheesecake, so check that out. Yeah, so when I made my first album, first of all, I recorded it always between the hours of 10 p.m. and 2 a.m. for some reason. Maybe spiritually, maybe that's when everyone else was asleep, or I had enough room in the house to do it and not make too much noise, I guess. But then I would play through it in its entirety and dedicate it to different spirits or people who had passed away. I remember I had a high school teacher who passed away that summer too, and I like dedicated the whole album to him, one performance all the way through. You know, no one was there, just me, but maybe that's how I still feel, because you know, live music, you gotta make it from your house and let people watch from there. So I got a good start on that. Anyway, I wrote a little poem about, is it poem or poem? Chime in the comments. But I wrote a poem just basically about the feeling of this guitar, and I'll see if I can read it. I was playing for the spirits then, this new first solo album of mine, dedicated to one each time, a time machine love, and I don't have a copy, fully, now. Many times I'd been in the same room, making music to another instrument. This little oddball beauty, chipboard case cushion from very little pushin', puddles of mud on their lips, chopsticks from their hands, when I ever and only had a beetle wig cut. Always bowled over by your decade's magic. Goddamn propulsion. Easy to wrest from a 3-pound axe. Golly, I was more innocent then, but I am now too. So I'll finally realize how gold thine foils in curly waves. And that's a poem. I would say that references being in the little, basically a closet full. There was a piano and an upright bass, and then a couple guitars and an amp maybe, and like 4 of us would just sit in there and play like Body and Soul on the piano or bass, or you know, someone would just strum the guitar. We'd also play She Hates Me by Puddle of Mud. That was a favorite, even though that song was kind of old by then. I kind of, in a way, regret not having used this the whole time, you know, say that I've been using some of my other guitars, but here we are now, and that's what the series is about, just looking back and maybe doing some little bit of inner child work, figuring out what you should have been doing all along. But anyway, I hope you all liked this, and if you did, leave a like, leave a comment, leave a subscribe, take a bell ringing, and so you can know when I add more videos. And we'll see you next time.